Now let's look at the question called Reach the Wall. This is the second question in the section of Level B difficulty questions, so the second one out of the 4. Now as you can see here, the task says that the turtle wants to touch the furthest wall. Using no more than 5 programming blocks, write a program to help the turtle to get to the wall furthest from its starting position. Note, some blocks count as more than one block. So of course it's really important to take the note into consideration, as the restriction here is that we are not allowed to use more than 5 programming blocks. As you can see here, there are also slow, normal and fast options when testing the code and the movement of the turtle to help us test in different speeds. Now let's have a look at the blocks provided to us. So there's 2 types of blocks. One is a movement block and one is a loops block. Now the loops block is there for a particular reason. This means that in some way, shape or form we do need to consider the fact that we may need to repeat certain steps that the turtle takes, and thus use the repeat block to help us do that quicker. Now, depending on which way you want to go, you can see that first we have to sort of visually solve the problem ourselves so that we can code it correctly using the blocks provided. Now, the furthest wall is the wall up here. This means that we need to avoid this wall by either turning left or right. Now, again, it's clear to see that you can either turn left or right and still reach the furthest wall. So in this case, there is definitely more than one possible answer. Now, depending on your preference, you will pick either to move left or to move right, but the logic behind the answer will still remain the same. So in my case, I'm going to decide that I want to turn left. So if I quickly run it, you'll see that my turtle quickly turns left. Now, in order to avoid this wall here, I obviously need to make sure that I also move forward. So let's have a look here, run this and move forward. Now, as you can see, now I have the possibility of repeating certain movements. So in this case, I'm now going to look at some of the repeat or looping blocks that I can see. And I can see a repeat block, which is quite helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that block out, and I'm also going to look at some of the if blocks. Now, as you can see here, this is very, very helpful. This is because this block basically does the hard work for me. What it says here is that if there is a path ahead, then move forward and carry on. And if there isn't, then of course I'm going to do something else. Now, as you can see, I need to fill in the block for the else section. This is quite clear to understand. If I can't move forward, then I need to do something else. In this case, I would then be turning right. That's because initially I've turned left, and as I can see a path to carry on, before I reach a wall, I would need to turn right and then continue all the way up to the furthest wall. So I'm going to go over to the movement block, and then I'm going to use the turn right block to put into the else section. Now, of course, before I start moving forward in any way, shape or form, I need to make sure that I turn left first. So turning left is the first step that I will use, and thus it will remain as a separate block on its own before I repeat any of the other options here. So here is a possible solution. Let's run it. As you can see, the turtle's turned left, hit the wall, and I've now received the correct answer as confirmation. Did you solve it this way? Let's have a look at possible answers. So as you can see here, we've essentially got exactly the same answers to what we've done, except our turn right and turn left blocks are in the opposite place. This is because, as I explained previously, there are multiple ways of solving this question, and in particular, there's 2 ways that the turtle can turn in order to successfully still reach the final goal, which is the furthest wall away from it. So we can also emulate this same answer. The thing to do here is if you or I chose to turn right first, that would become the first step. But of course, that would mean that once we did reach a wall, we would need to turn left instead of right, as previously shown in my solution, to make sure that we finally hit the wall that is in the correct ideal location and not in the incorrect one. So as you can see here, that was the demonstration of the solution provided on the website. Of course, the previous demonstration shown to you was also the solution provided by myself. So again, keyword being possible answer. Well done if you solved that correctly.